Hey everybody, it's Melanie, and today I have a review and swatches and comparison for you of the new Tarte Holidaze Bling It On blush palette. This is the box that the blush palette itself comes in. This is the palette. This year is sort of reminiscent to the first year's packaging. This was the off-the-cuff palette, and it looks like they shied away from what they did last year, which was this much more, like this was the pinup one, pinup girl palette, which was much more bulky and, you know, not quite as sleek and travel friendly. So this is $44 in the United States. I think it's a little bit more for you Canadian folks. It is a $110 retail value. Actually, it says right here, 53 Canadian. So my Canadian friends, you guys are paying 53 for this. Us in the US are paying 44. So $110 value. So this is definitely really good value for the money. Every year that these blushes palettes have come out, I have definitely made an effort to purchase them before they sell out, because they do sell out pretty quickly. So that is something to note. If you want this, I would probably think about snagging it possibly even before the VIB sale starts in November, just because in the past this has sold out before that has started. So if that's what you're waiting for, I don't know, you might want to weigh whether it's worth, you know, like saving the 20% or whether you would rather have the palette. For me, I would honestly rather have the palette, so I just went for it. Okay, so what you are getting is essentially 5 blushes. The names of the colors in here are Fetching, Dollface. Dollface is permanent to the collection, and Dollface has been in every single one of these other palettes as well. I do believe that this is one of their best sellers. Oddly enough, this is not my favorite color. Prim, Smashing, and Beaming. And then you have a really nice sized mirror on the top here. So this is magnetic, so there's a pretty good strong magnetic closure here. If you have a thing with like textures, I know I have some girlfriends that have like texture issues touching things that are like, you know, rough or glittery. This is kind of a rough palette, and these little glitters do come off, especially where there are like bends in the palette here. But it's not something that is going to shed like crazy or anything like that. It's just a very, like, I would say as far as glitter goes, it's definitely smooth. Not like that kind of Mod Podged effect of the glitter from the Too Faced La Creme lipstick trio that I did. This is like, this is very rough. This is actually pretty smooth. So anyway, for those of you that care about stuff like that, let's compare these really quickly to the previous year's palettes, so you can get a sense of what you're getting this year. So here it is compared. This is the first year. This is the off the cuff. So the off the cuff is on the bottom, and then this current year is down below. So you can take a peek at that. I mean, there's some similarities, but there's definitely some obviously different shades, and Dollface is the common denominator. I do like that this year they did put the name of the blush below each blush. I thought that was a nice touch. And then here is the very bulky, and let's just do this. So for this one, we will have this year's on top, and then the Pinup Girl is on the bottom, so you can see the colors there. So if you have either one of these and you don't think the differences are too great, then you might not want to pick this up. But for me, I feel like this is such a good value, and I think there's enough variety for me to make it worthwhile, essentially. So those are your comparisons there. For those that are curious about how much blush you actually get in these palettes, so each one is a net weight of 4.5 grams. And I have here Mocha from MAC. MAC kind of seems to be the standard in terms of like what people compare other, you know, products to. So MAC blushes are 6 grams or 0.21 ounces, and these are 0.15 ounces each. So you're really getting a generous amount of product, and in reality, how many of us actually ever finish a blush? So you're getting a good amount of product with the Too Faced ones. I don't own any of these separately, so I honestly can't tell you if these are the same size as the ones that are sold on their own. I think these are probably a little bit less, but not by much. Okay, let's do some swatches. So I will do them on my fingers and then also on my arm for you. So the first one is Fetching, and Fetching is just a beautiful rose. This has a matte finish, but it almost leans slightly satin. And let me make sure, take my Fitbit off. So that is what that looks like. My skin, by the way, is pretty fair, so something to keep in mind. I'm obviously pretty pasty. Second, we have Doll Face. Again, this is permanent. And these are nice and smooth. They're definitely buildable. So there's Doll Face. Prim is actually what I'm wearing today, and it's actually my favorite. And I'm going to put that here. I'll show you. So this is just a really nice neutral, almost like rosy tan type color. Again, matte finish, matte satin type finish. So I went ahead and put that above Prim there. The next color is Smashing, and this one definitely looks a lot more matte than the other ones. And this is a corally pink, but more of like a muted coral. Again, that's Smashing on my ring finger here. Let's put that above Prim, so you can see what that looks like there. And then the last one is the lightest. This does seem to have a little tiny bit of shimmer to it. And let me make sure I can get my pointer finger cleaned off. Beaming is a very light pinky peach with some shimmer. So I would say Beaming probably will not show up all that well on anyone who is much darker than like a fair medium skin tone. So there you can see all of those swatches. I think I did a decent job of swatching those finally. Really pretty, smooth, pigmented. Honestly, I don't have one bad thing to say about this palette. I think it's good value for what you're paying for it. And I love the quality. I find them to be very long wearing. I tend to have an oilier skin type, and my face doesn't seem to eat this blush. You know how if you have oily skin, you kind of know what I'm talking about, where like blush just seems to disappear halfway through the day. With this formula, it does not. It just feels really great. They're long wearing, they apply beautifully, they are easy to work with, they're not hard to blend. I just think overall this is an absolutely beautiful blush palette, and for what you're spending for it, I think it's a really, really good deal. So let me know if you guys have any additional questions down below. Hopefully this was helpful. I have a couple more reviews coming up for you here in the next few days. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. See you soon. Bye.